Hello everyone, welcome to another Let's Play of Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. My name is Anna Mardell, and when we last left off with our hero, we had, I won't say proven in court, but we had suggested to the court that Miles Edgeworth is not guilty of murder, that in fact he was set up to be a patsy, framed, that's the word I'm looking for, framed for a murder that someone else committed. We have a good idea who the murderer is. Problem, he has also scarpered. The police didn't keep a hold of him. He is gone. And now we have to track him down. Kind of unclear how we're going to do that when we're not actually a police officer. We're just an attorney. And we don't exactly have very many resources at our disposal because we are just barely able to keep the lights on, let alone finance a nationwide manhunt. The tiny bit of what's what I'm looking for, the tiny bit of unhappiness in all this is that rather than being excited at being sort of halfway to cleared, our client, Miles Edgeworth, confided that he is haunted by dreams of committing a crime. Since his father died in a closed scene, it was a stopped elevator, in which Edgeworth and the suspect were the only people in the elevator, I'm really terrified that we're going to find out that little baby Edgeworth was somehow responsible for his father's death and has, repressed it all these years. I really hope not. That's the last thing I want. But we will find out, won't we? So that was a longer intro than usual. I'm sorry. But it actually has been, I've slept since I last played, and it helped me to get familiar in my head what the heck is going on. So, where do I want to say? Here we go. I must say, naming all the cases, turnabouts, this, that, or the other, and then making the days so tiny on this save screen is really playing heck with my ability to tell the save games apart. They look almost identical to me, but that's a processing issue that possibly no one else has. When you're dyslexic, you get used to stuff like that, having problems that nobody else has. All right, December 27th. So we are now 2 days after the murder because the murder took place on Christmas, just after midnight. What was Mr. Edgeworth talking about? Oh, they're actually gonna flash back for me, so I really needn't have given so much background. I'm really so sorry. A memory of a crime that I committed. A memory of murder. Do you really think Mr. Edgeworth killed? I don't believe it. Not Edgeworth. Some painful memory has been troubling him recently. But he'd never take someone's life. Never. Nick. Yo, how's everyone doing? Larry. Oh, does Larry just live with us now? Did that happen and I missed when it happened? what do you think of my performance today? I had him swooning in the aisles, huh, Maya? Swooning? Me? Oh, yes. I do remember feeling faint. So, honest question, do we think that Larry's supermodel girlfriend in a shoot over in Hawaii, do we think she's actually real? Or is she just a figment of his imagination that we're all, humoring for him? Like, you know, the guy who has a girlfriend in Canada. I'm sorry, hold on. What's wrong, baby? You crying? Oh, is your sister bugging you? You guys play nice, okay? Sorry? Right on! Tell me the truth. It was like love at first sight, right? Right, Nick? Huh? Me? Yeah, I'm confused too. Whom do you think is in love with you, honey? Maybe my heart skipped a beat or two? I think you can do better than that. Come on, I saved Edgeworth in there, dude. You guys should be bowing before me. Yeah, bow before your hero. Larry. Larry, you really helped out in the trial today. You did it! If you weren't there, Larry, I'm sure Mr. Edgeworth would have been found guilty. But seriously, Nick, that boat shop caretaker guy is pretty suspicious. I don't mean to be ungrateful, but how did you get in our office? Like, where did you come from? But Edgy ain't off the hook yet. Way to spoil the mood, Larry! Hey, I'm just a guy sitting in the audience, you know? But from where I was sitting, Edgy seemed pretty edgy. I mean, can you really know he's telling the truth about that night? What are you talking about? We know he is. We proved it with the number of gunshots. Nick? I don't know. But what I do know is I'm going to believe in you two until the end. Us two? Edgeworth and who else? You mean me, right? Nah, he means me. Right, Nick? Yeah, you, Larry. Not me? But why you, Larry? Huh? Actually, yeah, why me, Nick? Enough with the silent treatment! That was weird. Maybe it's some kind of reference to do with the shared history between Larry and Edgeworth and Phoenix that keeps being referenced? I'm not sure. I will say, and I'm going to say this here now, just in case I don't get to say it later, there is a common, very common, well-documented phenomena of survivors of traumatic events feeling guilty just for surviving and deciding that they did something terrible in order to do so. It's a well-documented part of what they call survivor's guilt. So somebody feeling like they're a bad person or they've done bad things because they survived something traumatic does not mean that they're actually secretly guilty and they've been hiding it all this time. That's a normal human psyche thing. And I hope that's where this is heading, and not that, I don't know, that Edgeworth accidentally killed his dad. How? And that he's been repressing the memory or being silent about it or something, because I hope we're not going there. That would break my heart a little bit. And plus, like I said, it's very normal for people who feel guilty to not be guilty. That's one of the reasons why false confessions to police departments are so common. I wonder if we'll have a false confession case. That would be really cool, because they don't deal with that a lot in, like, legal shows, or at least not the legal shows that I've seen a lot of, because false confessions are kind of really tricky in terms of how to respond to them. And often the police don't respond in an ethical way. It's like, got a confession, done, we can close this out. And that's not, anyway. Okay. Let's talk about Edgeworth. Nick, why do you trust Mr. Edgeworth so much? Why does he trust Mr. Edgeworth so much? I have been headcanoning that they knew each other in college. And I joke that I won't hear anything to the contrary, and I won't. But I'm not sure why the game thinks he trusts him so much. I mean, he's changed recently, it's true. But when we first met him, he was kind of a jerk, don't you think? He was more than a jerk. He was fabricating. Well, it seemed like he was fabricating evidence, as with the updated autopsy. And he certainly seemed more than happy to provide a lifeline to the obviously guilty Mr. Red, White, and Blue Corps. In a case that would have gotten us killed if it had been ruled against us. So, not ideally a good thing for a friend or boyfriend to do, obviously, but also not ideally a good thing for anyone who cares about justice to do, because at that point, Mr. Red, White, and Blue was obviously guilty. So, by helping him out in order to screw us over, Edgeworth was actively helping a murderer try to circumvent justice. And I think that's where his supposed philosophy breaks down, because the idea that he's just got a boner for justice and he'll send everyone to jail regardless of the truth, that doesn't work, because if you send the wrong people to jail, then that means you're letting murderers off. That's the opposite of having a justice boner. That's profoundly unjust in terms of, I mean, if nothing else, you're gonna have more victims, because the murderers are free to continue murdering. So I think that's where that philosophy breaks down quite a bit. But yes, agreed, he was a bit of a jerk when we met him. That is one way to characterize his behavior. You didn't know him back then. I think this is why I've headcanoned them as being together in college, because it makes a lot more sense for Phoenix to have known him as an adult and to feel like that has a bearing on his behavior now than to have known him as a child and to just feel like he hasn't changed. Because if he hasn't seen him since childhood, that's not really a good indication of his character now. But if they knew each other in, law school or undergrad school, then that would make a lot more sense. So I continue to maintain that my headcanon is accurate and indeed endorsed by the game.
Back when he wanted to become a defense attorney.
Wait, was that when you two were classmates?
Yes, in grade school. They saved me. Miles, and Larry. They saved me, and I'll never forget it. That's why I became a defense attorney,
Oh, we told Maya that Larry was why we became, part of why we became a defense attorney. Miles was the other part? What? Hey, Larry, what's he talking about?
Huh? Sorry, I kind of forgot.
What? Okay, Nick, out with it. I'm going to hear this story today, and that's final.
Okay. It's kind of a long story, so hang in there.
We're going to get a flashback.
It was the very end of 3rd grade. Oh my gosh.
3rd grade is just too long ago. I don't even remember people from my 3rd grade. I'm trying to... What is 3rd grade? Is that when you're 9? 10? Yeah, that's way too long ago.
I was on trial. A class trial.
A class trial?
You remember, Larry? Spring, end of 3rd grade? A kid in our class got his lunch money stolen.
So wait, this was before Edgeworth's father was killed, because he was transferred after. So this was when Edgeworth still wanted to be a defense attorney like his father.
Lunch money? Our school was really small. Every month, kids would bring in an envelope with money for lunch from home. I see. Anyway, this kid's envelope disappeared, with $38 still inside.
Why is all this red? Or am I supposed to be writing this down to remember later? Maybe we say it to Edgeworth? Okay, hold on. Got my notebook here.
Oh, yeah, now that you mention it, I do remember that.
Obviously didn't leave as much of an impression on Larry as it left on us.
I can see why you'd forget, though. You were out of school that day. Anyway, the envelope had been stolen during PE class. I was coming down with a cold, so I'd skipped PE that day. I was the only one not in class.
So, they thought you did it?
Yeah. The kids in class said I should be put on trial.
Trial?
So the next day, we held a classroom trial, with me as the defendant.
Aww. Look how small they all are. There's the teacher subverting justice. Seriously, who lets this happen? Surely he would be ostracized by his peers regardless of the outcome. Because there's always going to be some people who believe he's guilty. That would be Phoenix with the spiky hair. I assume that that's Miles up there at the front of the room, being the defense. And that would be someone else as the prosecution? Just guessing? Not sure where Larry is.
I didn't do it.
Guilty! He did it! Guilty! It was you! Thief! Give the money back! You're a meanie! No one play with him! Just admit you did it! You can't hide the truth! We're not gonna play with you anymore! He shouldn't be allowed in the relay race or on the library committee! Did you rob that bank the other day?
Oh my gosh! The teacher is encouraging the brutal, horrible children.
Now, Phoenix, you know you shouldn't steal people's money. It's not right. In the end, even the teacher thought I'd done it. Go over and apologize, Phoenix. I didn't know what was happening. I was so sad. I couldn't stop crying. Everyone was staring at me like I'd done it. I tried to apologize. I went to where the boy whose money had been stolen was sitting. That's when it happened.
He shouldn't have to apologize. The only thing that belongs in a trial is evidence. Anything else has no place. You should all be ashamed. Amateurs.
Oh, bless him. Miles? Oh, look at him.
It wasn't you.
It was his money, no less. Oh my gosh.
It wasn't you who stole my money, was it?
No.
Then you shouldn't apologize. Everyone's been shouting you did it, but no one has any proof. That is why, Your Honor, this boy is innocent.
But Miles, it was your money that was stolen.
Yeah, he did it. He's the one. We don't need proof. Why don't you all just shut up? Oh. This is always how it is. Everybody ganging up and picking on one person. Just think how he feels. He said he didn't do it, so he didn't do it.
Oh, look at the cute little children.
Very well. I will replace the money myself. This class trial is over.
Teacher probably stole it. Prove she didn't. You can't.
That's how it happened. After that, the three of us were the best of friends.
Oh, Maya's crying too. I'm not alone. I had no idea.
Yeah, I had no idea either. I mean, I forgot.
Oh, Larry. Never change.
That's when I learned what it meant to be alone.
Well, you also learned what it meant to have friends, though, so that part was nice.
Totally alone, without a friend in the world.
You had friends. We just saw that. They helped you. Okay.
You did a good thing, Larry.
Well, yeah. I was just lucky that I took the day off from school. Was he the one who stole the money? Was he? That would be hilarious if he did. If I'd been there, they would have thought I'd done it. So I took it kind of personally, you see. When something smells, it's usually the butts. Oh, because he was the school scapegoat. So they would have thought he did it because that was just the MO for how the school blamed him for everything all the time. So who did steal the money?
Anyway, Edgeworth and I talked after that class trial. That's when I heard his father was a defense attorney. A famous one. I remember...
Oh gosh. I remember his eyes would shine when he talked about his father. I know, I'm a big softie. Go on and laugh about it. But he lost his dad and I'm sad about it.
I'm going to become a defense attorney, just like my father. A famous defense attorney. Then, a few months later, he suddenly transferred to another school. The DL6 incident.
Which Maya is sort of connected to too, by virtue of the fact that that was the incident that ruined her mother and thus her childhood. So it's actually kind of interesting that we're all sort of linked together in this as like playthings of fate.
But who's guilty? Is it really the man by the in the shack by the sea? It seems like him. Right. I'm not sure, but the transfer probably had something to do with his father's death. That's so sad. It was several years later when I heard Edgeworth's name again. There was an article about him in the newspaper. The headline was something like, "Dark Suspicions of a Demon Attorney." What? Fabricating evidence, manipulating testimonies, covering up facts. It's well known enough that it was in the newspapers? What kind of dystopia are we living in? How is he and Von Karma not disbarred? The article said he'd do anything to get a guilty verdict. Anything. But nobody apparently cared enough to look into it. But why? What happened? I mean, that's not the Edgy we used to know at all. That's what I thought too. I'm just blown away by the idea that this is well known enough that it's in the papers, but nobody wants to fix it. I tried to get in touch with him. I don't know how many times. He never replied. Okay, yeah, you can't convince me, cannot convince me that they didn't have something as adults. You don't try to get in touch, well, maybe you do, but I don't try to get in touch with people I knew as a frickin' like I can't think of anyone from my 3rd grade that if I heard something like this about, I'd be like, holy crap, I have to get a hold of them and see what's going on. That just doesn't sound like them at all. I'd be like, wow. That person was more messed up than I thought. Maybe I'm just a bad person. Maybe other people would do that, and I'm just the only person who wouldn't. I guess that's possible. I feel like there's more there than 3rd grade, you know?
I guess he didn't want to see his old friends.
I couldn't just drop it, though. I wanted to meet him, to learn why he had become who he became. That's when I decided.
Wait, you don't mean...
That's why?
That's why you became a defense attorney? To meet Edgeworth? What? Aren't we the same age? Okay, so apparently we don't get a profile, but if we were all in the same class, we should be in the same age. So the timeline there is confusing. He became a dirty, or suspected of being dirty prosecutor that was up and coming enough to be profiled in papers, but that was enough time for Ace to go to law school, and we're all still 24. No, none of that makes sense. None of that makes sense. I've decided to replace the whole thing with my headcanon where they met again in college and went to law school together. Now maybe Ace was possibly studying to be a prosecutor and, you know, had a falling out with Edgeworth, and, you know, I don't know. Or maybe he went to go to be a defense attorney and had a, you know, but no. Nobody does a complete career 180 in order to meet a guy from 3rd grade and talk to him about his ethical life choices. That just doesn't make any sense to me. And if somebody in the audience has done that, then I apologize for invalidating you and saying you don't exist, but I'm just having a really hard time believing that that Phoenix did this huge career change to meet a guy that this is something you do for somebody you're totally in love with, and you need some kind of like closure, or you're trying to help them or something. It's not something you do for a guy you vaguely knew as a kid. I'm just saying. Okay.
If I was a defense attorney, I knew he'd have to meet me, whether he wanted to or not. In court.
And we'd get so much talking done then.
Edgeworth believed in me, and I believed in him. He's in pain, and no one is on his side. I'm the only one who knows the real Edgeworth. I'm the only one who can help him.
How is that not shippy? I mean, especially with Larry right there. We were all friends, but I'm the only one who knows, the only one who understands him. I can't not ship that. I'm only human.
Whoa, Nick. So, is that why you helped me out for free? Yes. I helped you because I believed in you. Except I don't remember saying I'd do it for free.
Sorry. Oh, Nick! We had to save Mr. Edgeworth if it's the last thing we do, okay?
Right. It very well may be.
Really? You think this is gonna kill you?
First, there's that rental boat shop caretaker.
We need to find out who or what he is.
I'd settle for who. I guess I can clean out some of the evidence I no longer need.
Oh. That's nice. What did we get rid of? Why do we still have the metal detector? Surely we don't still need that.
Let's go!
Alright. Let's go down to the... Oh, there it is. Detention center.
You look as grim as always.
Mr. Edgeworth, I heard the story about the class trial.
Class trial? What do you mean?
Of course. Of course it wouldn't have created the same impression on him as it did on Phoenix. You don't remember?
No, I don't.
Your lunch money was stolen, wasn't it? In the 3rd grade? Why would he remember that, honey? He lost his dad the same year.
Lunch money? Oh, right. Yes, I seem to remember something like that.
Nick, I think you're the only one who really remembers.
Well, it probably really only mattered to me.
Mr. Edgeworth, didn't you know? That trial was the reason Nick became a defense attorney.
Ridiculous. That said, it does sound like the kind of thing you'd do. You haven't changed a bit, have you, Wright? So simple. To a fault, even.
Well, maybe yeah, but I think you changed too much, Edgeworth.
Oh. Perhaps. Edgeworth, why did you become a prosecutor? You used to look up to your dad. You said you wanted to be a defense attorney. I couldn't let myself deny reality like you.
What do you mean?
My father was taken from me, and you want me to defend criminals? I'm sorry, Wright, but I'm not that good of a person.
One suspect was apprehended in your father's murder, right?
Yes, the man trapped in the elevator with my father. His name was Yanni Yogi. He had to be the shooter, any way you look at it. Yet he was found innocent. That defense attorney got him off the hook. That would be Robert Hammond. On that day, 15 years ago, the 3 of us were trapped in that elevator for 5 hours. When we were rescued, we all suffered oxygen deprivation. I had lost all memory of the murder. Lost your memory? Even now, I can't recall what happened in that elevator. That was the crux of Yogi's attorney's argument in court. He claimed Yanni Yogi had not been of sound mind due to the oxygen deprivation. Yogi was released due to a lack of evidence. Innocent. That's when I changed my mind, and I started to hate defense attorneys.
That doesn't sound right as far as the American system goes, but we've already established that we're not American. But not of sound mind is, I think, an affirmative defense. Like, yes, he did it, but you can't really blame him because he wasn't of sound mind when it happened. You can't say, no, he didn't do it, and he was not of sound mind. Like, that's not how affirmative defenses work.
What's your relationship with Von Karma? And by the way, did you notice he's completely evil? He's my teacher, and a man who deserves respect. I learned everything I know in courtroom techniques from him.
So he's like my sister was to you, Nick.
He is a perfectionist in all things. In court, in his personal life, he is obsessed with doing everything perfectly.
Perfectly, huh?
In all the cases he has taken on, none were left unsolved, and not one suspect was declared innocent, ever.
But that's...
I know. It's possible some of the suspects were indeed innocent. However, it is impossible for us to accurately determine that in every case. All Von Karma does is his job to find the suspect guilty perfectly. In any case, it's nigh well impossible to find a weakness in him. Should a weakness appear, he would do everything in his power to make it go away.
Edgeworth, if what you're saying is true, you're headed for a guilty sentence tomorrow. He's right! Now is no time to praise the enemy, Mr. Edgeworth!
It's a strange situation in which I find myself, I admit. No kidding.
Do I see any of the evidence? I don't think you do, but it doesn't hurt to ask, right? Nick! No! That's a photo of his father! Don't show him that!
Okay. What is it?
Nothing.
Huh?
One bullet in the heart. The murder weapon was fired twice. After his arrest, fiancée Polly Jenkins... Oh my god. Polly is the bird's name. That's so depressing.
It was that case that changed my life. And tomorrow, on December 28th, its statute of limitations runs out.
Could that be a coincidence?
But even if the case is finally closed on paper, it will never be erased from my memory. Never.
Poor Mr. Edgeworth.
Sorry, I'm not sure I can help you with that. What are you showing me this picture for? You know, I was impressed by your deduction in the trial today. Granted, you were at the end of your rope, but still.
Nikki noticed! So at this point, Maya is clearly shipping them as much as I am, so...
Hey, pal! Long time no see!
Oh, Detective Gumshoe!
Close one today, eh? I got so worked up, I snapped my tie in half.
Sorry about that.
No problem, pal. Thanks to you, we now know who really did it.
You mean the boat shop caretaker?
Look, I'll make you a promise. And I'll have that scoundrel in my custody by trial time tomorrow. Come what may. It's my duty to you as a police officer. Now I'm off to catch me a criminal.
Detective Gumshoe sure is active today.
Oh, one other thing. No one can go into the woods today.
The woods? Where Lotta was camping?
The woods are off limits to camping, and apparently the park ranger found out. He got pretty mad. No one can go in for a while.
I guess Lotta's in a lot of trouble.
Oh, good. Anyway, I'll be seeing you tomorrow.
I hope she was fined heavily. The steel eyesore is missing. Eyesore? Looks like the hot dog stand is closed too. I guess Larry's too busy worrying about Mr. Edgeworth to show up for work. That old caretaker got away.
Yeah.
I never imagined he might be the real murderer.
Ahem. I'd know that clearing of the throat anywhere. Haha, hello. What might you be doing here? Out for a walk, hmm? Ah, the days of my youth. like the scent of fresh lemon, you see?
Mr. Crossberg? This is no time for idle reminiscing. Mr. Edgeworth's trial ends tomorrow.
That is true, yes. But from what I saw of today's trial, Edgeworth should be fine, right?
Well, I'm not so sure about that.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I'm not sure.
If you find anything out, come by my office at once. I may be able to offer you some assistance.
Thanks. Bye. What do you think Mr. Crossberg was doing here anyway?
Who knows?
Okay. Nobody's home.
Hello, hello.
Hey, it's Polly. I wonder where your owner's gone, Polly.
Hello, hello.
Can't believe he'd run off and leave his poor parrot to fend for herself. Maybe I should take care of Polly, Nick?
You probably shouldn't just kidnap her. The police know about her anyway. I'm sure they'll do something.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Polly. He says I can't take you.
Great, now the bird's going to hate me. Everything's cold. He didn't turn the heater on. I guess he hasn't been back here since the trial.
That reminds me, Nick. Polly here knows the number to the safe, right?
That's right.
Polly, what's the number to the safe? 1228.
12/28. December 28. When the statute of limitations runs out. I'm sure there isn't any money in there.
Aw, but hey, he keeps it locked, right? There must be something of value in there.
I'm not sure.
Okay, Nick, let's see what's in there.
The only thing in here is a letter.
A letter? Boring.
There's no name or signature on the thing. It's handwritten in precise, clear letters. Get your revenge on Miles Edgeworth.
Edgeworth? Nick! Why would Mr. Edgeworth's name be on here?
How should I know? I'm reading the whole thing. Get your revenge on Miles Edgeworth. It also says, this is your last chance. Now is the time to get revenge on the two men who ruined your life. The rest of the letter goes on to describe the murder plot in detail, how to kill Robert Hammond and frame Edgeworth. Calling Edgeworth out to the lake, getting on the boat, firing twice. This is exactly what I figured out today in court. It's all here in perfect detail.
What do you think it means, Nick?
I don't know, but it looks like these are instructions for the caretaker. When he killed Robert Hammond and called out Edgeworth, he was following instructions.
Who could have written that letter? And what does it mean to get revenge on Miles Edgeworth?
I don't know, but one thing's for certain. This letter is an amazing clue.
Okay, hold on, I gotta think here.
That's not what I want.
Air in the elevator was depleted, no clues. Trapped in the elevator from a lost trial, one bullet in the heart, murder weapon fired twice. Court bailiff. Fiancé committed suicide. The fiancé has the same name as the parrot. I can understand wanting to kill Miles if Miles was really the murderer and you felt like his framing of you or failure to remember or whatever, if you felt like that ruined your life. I get that, but hold on just a second. Okay, I'm back. I'm so sorry about that. It's like I said, it's the curse of the Let's Player. You start recording and somebody calls or something. Alright. I can see wanting to get revenge on Miles. If, I'm not saying he did, if Miles was somehow responsible for his father's death, then the man who was prosecuted might feel like Miles ruined his life by, casting suspicion on him and his fiancée dying. What I do not understand is why that person would want revenge on Robert Hammond, because, and I would accept that maybe Robert Hammond was just a necessary means to the end and collateral damage in order to get Miles, but the way that was written, it sounded to me like it was saying you get revenge on the two men who ruined your life. And I don't understand how Robert Hammond could have ruined Yanni's life when he got him off of the charge. Now, let me see. Polly committed suicide after his arrest, so it's not even like Robert Hammond's defense of being incompetent. It was killed her or anything like that. So I'm really confused why someone, I can understand why someone would have a beef with Miles. I can understand why someone would have a beef with Robert. I don't understand why someone could have a beef with both of them. I'm not sure I understand what happened in the elevator. Obviously, Miles's father was shot, and there's also a bullet hole in the elevator window, which you would think would be an attempt to get more oxygen in. I'm very confused still. Either way, it seems clear that the caretaker is the murderer. It seems clear that the caretaker is receiving instructions from someone. Which is also oh God. You don't think Grosberg is the one who sent instructions, do you? Grosberg could have existing beef with Robert Hammond, and he would definitely be angry with Miles because Miles kept getting his clients declared guilty. And that would explain why Grosberg has been so interested in this case, to the point where he's out walking on the beach of a crime scene on 2 days after Christmas when it's freezing outside. Edgeworth, do you see this letter? This came out of the safe in the shack where that boat rental caretaker lives. I see. Revenge on me? Who is that old guy anyway? I don't know. Could he be an innocent defendant you got declared guilty? Or something like that? Nice, Wright. But I don't remember that old man. Not at all. So, he was following this letter then? Which means there was someone else behind it. Now is the time to get revenge on the 2 men who ruined your life. 2 men? Meaning myself and Robert Hammond? It also says, this is your last chance.
last chance.
Wait, maybe he's talking about the statute of limitations on the DL6 incident?
Wait, that old man.
What is it? Do you know who he is?
Yogi. Could he be Yogi?
Yogi?
The suspect in the DL6 incident. The one who was found innocent.
I mean, yeah, I think that's pretty obvious.
Yanni Yogi was a court bailiff at the time. We just happened to be in that elevator together 15 years ago. The quake was incredibly strong. Before I knew it, everything was dark. We were there for so long, it felt like forever. The air thinned, and the darkness closed in on us in that little box. We became unsettled. Help! I can't breathe! Quiet! I said quiet! You're not making this any easier! I want to get out! Help! Get us out! Don't shout! You'll just use up more oxygen! That's all I remember. When I came to, I was in a hospital bed, staring up at the ceiling. In court, Yanni Yogi's mental condition was called into question. They claimed the oxygen deprivation and stress had caused temporary insanity. In the end, the claim passed the court and Yogi was found innocent.
But isn't that strange? This letter tells him to get revenge on Edgeworth. Why would he want to take revenge on you?
Right. Yeah? There's something that's been troubling me these last few days. I didn't know whether or not I should tell you. You mean the nightmare? It's a nightmare I've had. A memory of a crime that I committed. A crime you committed? A memory of a murder. I think the time has come to tell all. For the last 15 years, I've had the same dream, almost every night. I wake up in a fearful sweat every time.
What kind of dream?
It's a dream about my father's killing in the dark. Help! I can't breathe! Quiet! I said quiet! You're not making this any easier! Don't shout, you'll just use up more oxygen! I can't breathe! You're using up my air! What? Stop breathing my air! I'll stop you! What? What are you? Stop breathing my air! No! Father! He's attacking Father! Then I see the pistol lying by my feet. I don't know if it was evidence from that day in court or the bailiffs. In a daze, I pick up the pistol.
Get away! Get away from my father!
And with that scream, I wake. It's a bone-chilling scream. A scream that has rung in my ears for the past 15 years.
But that's just a dream, right?
That thought is the only thing that has kept me sane for the last 15 years. But what if I'm wrong? What if it's real? They say that sometimes people shut out memories in self-defense. Maybe it was I who killed my father. What? If you think about it that way, the letter makes sense. Get your revenge on Miles Edgeworth. Think about it. Yogi was really innocent. That's why he wanted revenge against me. Wait, Edgeworth. It was me. I was a true criminal of DL6. I shot my father. This is bad. What are we gonna do, Nick? What can we do? I don't know. I don't think there is anything we can do, like it or not. If there's someone else who knows a lot about the DL6 incident, maybe.
There is, Nick! There is someone else who knows about DL6. Okay, but it looked like he threw the pistol as opposed to shooting it. And that shouldn't have made it go off twice. I can buy once. A little one.
Mr. Grosberg. Oh, hello there. What's wrong? You look troubled.
No kidding! I can't believe you're not!
My. Just calm down and tell me what's happening.
It's Mr. Edgeworth. He...
I see. So, Edward dreamt he shot his own father.
It's only a dream.
I wonder.
What?
If that's the case, then why do you two look so troubled,
Well...
Now, sir, consider this. Yogi quite certainly holds a deep grudge against Miles Edgeworth. So deep, he'd want to frame him for murder. This leads me to surmise that Mr. Edgeworth's dream was not a dream, it was real. As you imagined. Miles Edgeworth threw the pistol to save his father. The pistol fired and the deed was done.
No! I don't believe it!
Yogi was suspected of murder, and his career as a bailiff was irrevocably wrecked. Thus, he sought revenge on Miles Edgeworth. This was his last chance, of course, with the statute of limitations so close.
How is it his last chance to revenge himself on Miles Edgeworth? This is a brand new murder. You can revenge him plenty of times. That doesn't make sense. I don't trust this guy. I don't know if he's wrong on purpose or by accident, but there's something wrong with the things he's saying.
What do you know about Edgeworth's father? He was a defense attorney, without peer. It sounds trite, but it's true. Well, he may have had one peer, now that I think about it. Your mentor, Mia Fey.
My sister?
Gregory Edgeworth was very disapproving of Mr. Von Karma's techniques. That's no surprise. Von Karma is an extreme man. Forged testimonies and evidence are nothing to him. The result, he has a perfect win record in court. To beat him, Gregory Edgeworth tried to call attention to his methods.
Really? And?
He lost, and died in despair, as it were.
I see.
When Gregory Edgeworth was killed, the police called on a spirit medium. That was your mother, Misty Fay. I am Gregory Edgeworth. I have been killed. The one who shot me was the bailiff Yanni Yogi. Yet Yogi was found innocent.
That's when my mother left us. Everyone called her a fraud.
That's right. Everyone thought she was, you see. Why would everyone think she was a fraud? It sounds like he had an affirmative defense that he did shoot the pistol, but it wasn't his fault because he wasn't of sound mind. So she was right.
This doesn't make any sense, and I can't tell if it's bad writing or bad world building or bad case building, or if I'm supposed to think it doesn't make sense because it's all gonna unravel.
Now that I think about it, it seems the one who lied was Gregory Edgeworth's ghost. Gregory Edgeworth must have known who shot him. I don't believe it. So you're saying he falsified his testimony? That Edgeworth's dad lied to protect his son? It's only a possibility, mind you. But a possibility nonetheless.
What do you know about this note?
So this is the letter. It does seem that Yogi was following this letter when he killed Hammond.
But why kill Robert Hammond?
Hammond was a skilled defense attorney, but he defended clients not for their own sake, but for his. His own sake? He never trusted his clients, that one. The only thing he trusted was his ability.
Okay. He got his client found innocent. Why should it matter?
Actually, my dear, it's quite different. He won that innocent verdict for no one but himself. Yogi was a free man, but socially he was ruined. You'll understand soon enough. Wait, what is it? This letter. I've seen this handwriting somewhere before, a long time ago. Whose handwriting was this? Do you have any idea who wrote this? That's an interesting forced choice. It's not Miles. It's not Yanni. Is it Manfred Von Karma? Could it be Von Karma? Von Karma? Why would he have something to do with this? Well, I'm not sure. Von Karma. Wait, you're right, my boy. This is Von Karma's handwriting. I'm sure of it. You know, I used to see it all the time on court reports.
What? But that means the one who told Mr. Yogi to kill was...
Correct. Manfred Von Karma himself. What does this mean? Why would Von Karma want to frame Edgeworth? If it truly was Von Karma who wrote this letter, then he would know the truth. He would know that Miles Edgeworth accidentally killed his own father. He'll say as much tomorrow in court, I should think. He'll press the point until the court finds Miles Edgeworth guilty. Oh no.
But how could Von Karma know about Mr. Edgeworth's past like that? Even Mr. Edgeworth thought it was just a nightmare.
That I do not know. Yet I do know that Von Karma is both persistent and a perfectionist. He may be seeking to satisfy a grudge against Gregory Edgeworth by hurting his son.
What do you mean?
It was 15 years ago. Von Karma met Gregory Edgeworth in court, and Von Karma did win. But he didn't make it through this trial unscarred. What happened in the trial between Edgeworth's dad and Von Karma? Von Karma got the guilty verdict he wanted. He won the trial, but Gregory Edgeworth accused Von Karma of faulty evidence. And though he lost the trial, Mr. Edgeworth's accusation stood.
Faulty evidence?
It was the only penalty Von Karma has ever received in his career as a prosecutor. Gregory Edgeworth dealt a blow to his perfect trial record.
Wow.
It must have been quite a shock for Von Karma. He took a vacation for several months after that, you see. I think he was the killer. He's setting Gregory up to ruin him, but also to close out the case. Yes, an unusual event for the man to take a vacation. That was the first, and the last vacation he's taken in many years of prosecuting. He doesn't take vacations? Like, go to the sea or the mountains? Don't tell me he's never been to Europe? You have strange ideas about vacations, Maya. In any case, that was the only time he took a vacation from work. I believe the penalty upset him quite a lot. Or murder did. Odd, if he wanted to keep a perfect record so badly. Why would he take such a long vacation? What do we do, Nick? Von Karma is going to bring up DL6, you can bet on it. What if Mr. Edgeworth pleads guilty to DL6? I won't let him. Mr. Wright, I hate to say this, but even accidental murder is murder, you know. No, it's not. You guys are supposed to be lawyers? That's not... whatever. I know.
Okay, pause. Stop. Pause. First of all, no, it's not. A child throwing a gun that goes off and kills someone is not murder. Not legally, not morally, not anything. But even if it was, okay, even if it was murder, defense attorneys are not bound by an ethical obligation to have or even let their clients confess to other non-relevant things that they've done wrong in their life. Like, that's not... So it's not, like, unethical or shocking or, you know, inappropriate for Phoenix to not want to let Edgeworth do that. That it would be unethical for him to want that. Defense attorneys are not bound by the court to find the truth the way prosecutors are supposedly bound. Defense attorneys are there to defend their client. And yeah, there's rules about it, like you can't suborn perjury and you can't, you know, knowingly lead them to lie and stuff like that. But no, they're not some kind of ethical obligation to, well, we have you here. Are there any other murders that you want to confess to? So I just... Okay. Hold on just a second. Okay, and we're back. I believe in Edgeworth's innocence. And even if I didn't, even if I thought he did something bad as a child, I don't believe that this is the time and place to... He needs counseling, not jail time. I can't believe he'd kill someone. But Nick, Mr. Edgeworth admits it himself. His father must have lied to protect him from beyond the grave. You're not fucking helping, Maya. Lots of survivors misconstrue a guilt that they are not actually guilty of, and you don't even know anything about whether his father lied or not. I don't care. I know he's not guilty. Mr. Wright, if you say so, I suppose I could go check again. The police files might hold something of interest. Thank you! I can't promise anything. In fact, I think the chances of finding something are slim. I understand. In fact, we'll just go ourselves. Christ, Maya, if you can't help, then just... Oh, we can't go ourselves. Well, let's go to the detention center. That's weird, we get different... Okay, I don't care. There's hardly anyone here! Everyone must be out looking for the old guy, Yogi. It's you! I don't think Gumshoe will be coming back today. He's staying out late looking for someone. Sounds like Detective Gumshoe is pounding the pavement for real. We were wondering if we could check out the records room again. Well, I
can't have just anyone wandering around in there. But I guess Mr. Von Karma is in there now anyway. Alright, so what is our theory here? Von Karma was responsible for Gregory's death. He took a vacation either to deal with the shock of what happened, or to destroy evidence, or to just distance himself because he wasn't sure if people would figure out he was the killer, so he was kind of on the run. I don't know. Maybe somehow the oxygen deprivation hurt him too, and he had to recover. I don't know. But theory, Von Karma is responsible for Gregory's death. The statute of limitations is coming up, and Von Karma wanted to frame Miles Edgeworth for the murder that he himself is guilty of. Now he's, what, destroying records? You can go in there, as long as he's there. Von Karma? Yes, he just arrived, actually. Von Karma's in the records room. Nick, let's hurry! Dusty as always. They were only here just yesterday. I'm sure they haven't had time to clean. What's wrong, Nick? Nothing. I was just noticing that he isn't here. Von Karma. One of the drawers here is open. Someone must have been looking in it recently. The label says unsolved cases, evidence. Unsolved cases? The file for DL6 is completely empty. What are you doing in here? Again, this is just, none of it makes sense. If Yogi gave an affirmative defense that he killed Gregory but was not competent, then the case is not unsolved. It's closed. It's solved. It's done. No one will ever receive punishment for it, but it would not be classified unsolved. If Yogi was genuinely found innocent, did not kill Gregory, then I don't understand why his mental competence was even an issue. But regardless, how did Hammond ruin his life and ruin his reputation and become worth killing in his eyes? You can't have it both ways. Either Richard Hammond bought him his freedom at the expense of labeling him a murderer who couldn't help what he did, thereby making himself worthy of death as far as Yogi was concerned, or not, but in the first case, the case would not be labeled unsolved. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, and yeah, okay, this doesn't work in American trialing, but I don't even really understand how it works in fake Japanifornia trialing. It's weird. Eek! Von Karma? You. How do you know my name? Huh? Have we met? What are you saying? We see each other every day, don't we? We're Miles Edgeworth's defense team. Defense team? I beg your pardon, you see. I rarely remember defense attorneys. They are like bugs to me. Needless things to be crushed. Oh, I can see how this guy was Edgeworth's mentor. Mr. Edgeworth is your student, right? A romanticist who still can't shed that veneer of amateurism. Just like his father, always second-rate. Mr. Von Karma, you had an axe to grind with Gregory Edgeworth, didn't you?
Me? A grudge against a mere defense attorney? Why? Because he dealt a blow to your otherwise perfect trial record? So you did. But what I don't get is, why did you take his son under your wing afterwards? The son of your most bitter rival?
That, my dear attorney, is none of your business. Tomorrow will be the last day of this trial. It's been a while since I've had a defense attorney last this long. Still, you will lose in the end. Miles Edgeworth will admit his own guilt.
His guilt of 15 years ago, you mean?
You're quite the researcher. If you've done your homework so well, then certainly you must understand. You know what Miles Edgeworth will tell the court tomorrow. You were right. Sir Von Karma is going to bring up DL6 in court tomorrow.
Mr. Von Karma, have a look at this. This was you, wasn't it? You instructed Yanni Yogi to commit murder.
Yanni Yogi. How many years has it been since I've heard him called by that name? He's a fool. I told him to burn it after he read it.
So you admit it? You wrote Mr. Yogi this letter?
Yes, my dear defense attorney. Thank you for taking the trouble to bring it to me. You saved me from a lot of needless hassle.
What? Nick! What is that thing?
A taser! A stun gun! For self-defense, usually. Indeed. 600,000 volts will course through your body like a dog touching an electric fence. 600,000... Oh, don't worry. People don't die from it, usually. Now give me the letter. No!
No!
Whoa, what are you...
Nick, run! Maya!
Out of my way! He got us. The letter's gone, of course. And he took the DL6 evidence. All of it. Back to no clues. Wait, Maya jumped first. Maya, is she okay? Maya! Maya, open your eyes! Maya!
The letter, did he take it?
Huh? Oh, yes. Are you okay?
I couldn't stop him. I jumped as fast as I could, but one shot from that thing knocked me out cold. I'm useless. I'm no good as a lawyer or a medium. I can't even call my sister. Not even now when we need her the most. Hun, no, you are not useless and this is not your fault. I wish I hadn't woken up at all. Oh, sweetheart.
Maya! There has to be some way I can help her. I better do something about her self-confidence first. Maya? She's holding something. What is that? A bullet? DL6 incident, evidence 7, taken from the heart of Gregory Edgeworth. I remember. Von Karma was holding this when Maya jumped him. Oh. Don't tell me Yanni had the same gun. I'll prove it to you, Maya. You're most definitely not useless. I'll prove it to you in court tomorrow. Oh, God. Well, that was really tense. Okay. Theory of the crime. Karma killed Gregory. Yanni was innocent, but so was Miles. Miles believes he's guilty, but he's not. The only thing I don't understand is the 2 gunshots. If Miles threw the gun and it went off and hit the window, how did it fire a second time to kill Gregory? Either Yanni picked it up and fired it, or I don't know. That's the part that I'm not getting. We'll have to get it in court. All right. Okay, so this has been Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. My name is Anna Mardal, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.